young people involved in ministry. And MUBET, you are not, I am told, you are not welcome unless you get involved for missions. Is that what you are also told? Or you are welcome to come and sit and do nothing. If you join MUBET, it's because you want to go for missions. And I thought that's a very, very good group to get involved in. But number two, I'm interested in MUBET because these are people who don't forget their home country. The Bible says, when the Holy Spirit comes upon you, be my witnesses. But you start where? And for a man, the name Jerusalem is not the right name. Which is the right name? Mary. So if you join MUBET, you can go anywhere. Like next year you're going to which county? You have an idea? was a consultant in Pricewaterhouse who was not living a balanced life. And this is not Umamoka, it was in the Standard newspaper. And we are told they work at night preparing for a presentation, and they don't know until 1 a.m. or something. Then they had to wake up by 5. By 6 o'clock, they were back in the office. By that time, the body is out of control. So by the time they are doing a presentation, around 3 o'clock, the person just feels, by the way, if I jump over down there, what will go wrong? So out of Western, the ability is Westlands. He jumped. It's a top consulting mind. Bright. He just jumped. And of course, by the time he landed, he was no longer himself. What you did? Not living a balance. So it's important to understand that the subject we are discussing is not something you can play around with. If you are not living a balanced life, for example, you will not finish university. You know, you are so committed to ministry that high assignments are a waste of time. Don't you know souls are dying? One assignment after the other. Do you think I didn't for those assignments? I'm going to preach in the name of the Lord. Unfortunately, you are bringing the name of the Lord in the wrong place. For the reason you went to campus is to study. Preaching is not your primary reason for campus. When you pray, God help me to pass, you don't say, help me to pass to go to preach. Why not preach? There are enough people in your village to preach. It is to study. So when you become so committed to preaching that you don't study and you are thrown out of campus, that's a sign you're not living a balanced life. And it's a sign that you don't hear God. So it's important to understand. But others are getting around. You know, I had a friend of mine who told me the way you get so involved in Christian things is like you don't know. I'm talking about almost 50 years ago. I was the chairman of the University of Christian in 1975. He said, yeah, you are too involved. You know, for me, I'm not happy to just get a degree. I'm looking for first-class honors that I got to do masters. Brother Nana. When I finish university, I'll preach, but not now. And you know, almost the devil starts whispering to you. Maybe he is making sense. And sure enough, of course, I continued preaching, continued being involved in ministry. But after we finished campus, I remember taking him for one of the missions. And in the 70s, the missions, when we went to a mission like this, what they would do in the church was to cut the grass and place it in an empty thing and you sleep on it. You did not carry these other things of having dormitories, having what, it was not there. We used to sleep on grass. You know, they cut in advance so that they dry. Then you are using certain parts to preach. The other part, the one hall is for women, the grass all over, and the other one is for men, the grass all over. That. When we came back to Nairobi, he said, I had to tell somebody, never around to take you out of those missions. Can you imagine? He made us sleep on grass. Sure enough, about 20 years later, we still have not gone for another mission. I remember he had told me, when he finishes university, you really preach. In fact, I reminded him. And he said, but you know, masters, you know you have not done masters yourself. It's a serious matter. So then after that, he's doing a PhD. Now after that, we are retired people. So you still go, yeah. At what age? Now, you know, in the end, and by the way, when you were in high school, he could play the guitar. He was such a gifted young person in high school and university. That's a pity that now we are looking at wasted, according to me, we were looking at a wasted life. The first time I went to KBC in 1972, that's the first time I appeared on a TV screen, 1972. We were doing our idol. He is the one who organized. Can you see how advanced he was? And we went to KBC and gave a poem, gave a talk. Now if you go to the archives, archives of PKTC, you can see how I look like. That's 2 years ago. And that was organized. Can you imagine if you had gone at that level where the amount you have accomplished? What went wrong? Lack of living a balanced life. He thought when you are doing education, only education. In the end, those excuses become normal. And for the rest of your life, you never accomplish anything. So our discussion today, you can see, is very, very important. Because if you are truly going to live a life that will honor God, it will be important that you actually learn to live a balanced life. I don't think I have all the time, so I have to find a way of moving from the introduction. But I hope that you now see the importance of the topic, isn't it? And my prayer is that God, in His wisdom, is going to bring you to where you see why you must, of necessity, aim at living a balanced life. You know, Ecclesiastes chapter 3, verse 1 says, there is a time for everything and a season for every activity under heaven. A time to be born, a time to die. A time to plant and a time to uproot. A time to kill and a time to heal. A time to tear down, a time to build. A time to weep and a time to laugh. A time to move and a time to dance. A time to scatter stones and a time to gather them. A time to embrace and a time to refrain from embracing. And goes on. Verse 9 says, what do workers gain from their toil? I've seen the burden God has laid on the human race, and we could go on and on. But please, notice verse 14. I know that everything God does will endure. Nothing can be added to it, nothing taken from it. God does it so that people will fear Him. In other words, if you want to be like God, then whatever you get involved in must be done like God. See, we are talking about the balanced life. And you might feel to be balanced means to be mediocre. You know the name? You like big words. Mediocre. Mediocre means it never has no excellence. And some Christians are known for mediocrity. They do many things, but they do them with mediocrity. Now the word of God is saying, no, you're not like God. It's okay to do many things, but all of them must be done with excellence. There's a time for everything. Everything must be done, needs to be done, but it needs to be done with excellence. So you need to understand, your preaching must be with excellence. Your assignment must be done with excellence. Your social relationship must be with excellence. Everything is excellent. And please notice, according to God, there are several things that will show you are working like God. Number one, what you do will endure. Don't do something that's going to fade away. You know, sometimes you go to buy material, and there's material that can make you a dress, and it's going for 3,000 shillings. Another material is going for 20,000 shillings, and both of them can cover your nakedness. So how come one you are paying 20,000, the other one 3,000? I learned. It's because the 3,000 one may not be on your body 2 years later. It finishes. The 20,000 one, you might hand it over to your grandchild. It can last. What you are learning is, if you are living a balanced life, it doesn't just mean you are doing everything. It means whatever you do can last. It can endure. I need to ask yourself, the things that MUBET is doing currently, are they going to endure? Mentoring young people in high school, is that something they can remember 20 years from now? Or is it just like a bushfire? Finish. You don't, in the next season, you have no idea that there was any fire. So that's one of the things that you have to ask yourself. And that's a critical thing to just endure. And not endure for 2 days, endure forever. Number 2, with it, is that nothing can be added for in other words, it's not improvable. You did such that even if the teacher asks you to repeat it, it can't be better. In other words, a Christian who is living a balanced life, whatever they do, they are doing their best. And the teachers are very interesting. A teacher can give you a B and tell you, well done, keep it up. Then another person gets an A minus. Says, no, pull up here. They say, do you know English? How can you tell a B, wonderful, keep it up, and you tell an A minus, pull up your socks? Why? Because the teacher knows. For the guy to get a B plus, he is actually a C brain. Getting a B. He must have worked very, very hard. Even if I was to ask him to repeat, he cannot improve. Am I communicating? So we are learning. Nobody is asking you to be better than me. That's none of your business. You must be better than yourself. That means even if you have to repeat the thing, you cannot do it in any better way. That is what a Christian person's performance is like. You do your very best. And you do not compete against other people. You compete against yourself. You are a unique being. And you are happy to be unique. You don't become like somebody else. That's why, not my subject today, a Christian never suffers from lack of self-worth. Because they do not compare themselves with others. The other day I saw on TV a guy who was 8 feet. And yesterday I was preaching, the pastor was 6 something. So I told him, how is they up there? Because you look at him, then I divided. By the way, now I found somebody else who is 8. And if you are 6'2" or 6'3", the 8 feet guy looks down on you like a child. Am I communicating? That everybody is unique. If you are 8 feet, you are 8 feet unique. Some other people here, and by the time you're in the university, chances of growing in taller are very slim. Actually, we can say non-existent. So if you are only 5 feet, please don't keep crying. You will not become 6. It's done. But 5 feet is what God so is. Your feet. Enjoy them.